Here's a breakdown of the City Walls music video, the conclusion of the 10-year storyline told by 21 Pilots. And if you're thinking, hey, this is the guy that talks about movies, why is he talking about a music video? It's because it was absolute cinema. If you saw my breakdown before the release of Breach, you may remember that the story of Clancy can serve as a thematic analogy for the inner battle faced by people struggling with mental health, and in particular, severe depression. It's a very personal topic for the band, and especially Tyler Joseph. At the end of Paladin Strait, we left Clancy in the hands of Nico, or Blurryface, a representation of Tyler's fears, insecurities, doubts, and anxieties. As of yesterday, we've seen the release of 2 lore-related music videos. The first is The Contract, which seems to depict something going on within Clancy's mind. Suddenly, he's in a kind of void, surrounded by a bunch of shadowy figures with glowing eyes. And I want to note quickly here that 21 Pilots has done a phenomenal job in rewarding longtime fans with callbacks. Even though the official lore began with the Blurryface album and only really got going with Trench, the band used a lot of their earlier metaphors and themes to create the world of this story. And Glowing Eyes is just one of many examples of this. It references a song of theirs from a technically non-existent album called Regional at Best. But we don't have time to go into it. Anyway, the Contract music video is all a bit mysterious, but I think the conclusion that came in the next video helps us understand a lot of this, so let's come back to it. City Walls picks up back in the same moment Paladin Strait ended. The Torchbearer and the Banditos rush the Bishop's Tower to go and help Clancy, but in the meantime, Clancy starts to fight back on his own, and let's just say, Nico is not a pushover. During this final fight, we keep seeing flashbacks to past moments within Clancy's story. First is the moment from the Heavy Dirty Soul music video, in which Clancy escaped Dima. The next is when Clancy had joined the Bandito group, but was captured by Nico again in the Levitate video. And the final one is the moment he was captured by Nico in Jumpsuit. In all of these memories, Clancy starts to run away from Nico, but then turns back to stand and face him. All while this is going on, the Torchbearer and the Banditos are struggling to break into the room. Clancy has lost the instruments he uses to fight back, but uses one final weapon, this symbol. The 21 Pilots symbol. Now, as I said last time, there's no direct meaning for this symbol. Put simply, it means 21 Pilots. But it's become a symbol synonymous with the band's fan base. It's one that for many people has come to symbolize hope, to continue fighting in the battle against yourself, to stay alive. This seems to destroy Nico, and all should be well, but the story then takes a turn. Clancy dons a robe, his throat has darkened, he has now become Nico. Clancy then starts handing robes to the Banditos, but the Torchbearer refuses to take one and leaves. This leaves us with Clancy at the center of 9 bishops, Nico and the Niners, effectively recreating what he just fought to destroy. On the outside, we see an exchange between the Torchbearer and a Bandito.
I really like this Clancy. That's not Clancy up there anymore. He's out there somewhere. And we will try again. Again? Always.
There had been hints before, but from this, we finally learned that there has been a cycle of Clancy's and Nico's. To put it simply, one is the other. One becomes the other. They're inseparable. Let's now go back to the Contract music video. The fight to stay alive has always been depicted as a vicious cycle within 21 Pilots music, and this video showed us a visual representation of that. Throughout the video, we see duplications of Clancy, as if there's multiple versions of him repeating these same exact things. I personally think the glowing eyes are the many past versions of Clancy watching this occur yet again. Towards the end of the music video, everything starts to leave the void until we're left with just Clancy and the Torchbearer. The Torchbearer offers Clancy his jacket, as if to say, let me help you, but Clancy doesn't take it. This was also reflected in their live performances, where for most of the shows, this offer would happen and the two would then walk to the stage together, watching Dima burn. A symbol of the ultimate victory, to destroy the place in which Clancy finds himself trapped. But in the final shows, Clancy refused to take the jacket and decided to go at this alone. So let's come back to the scene with the Bandito and the Torchbearer. Dima is not burning, it's standing strong as ever. This has all happened before, and it will probably happen again. It seems incredibly tragic, but there's a sign of hope. The sun is rising, and the Torchbearer says the next Clancy is out there somewhere, We're going to try again. The battle to conquer the darkest parts of ourselves never really ends. And I think while it may have been incredibly cathartic to finally see Dima, the representation of the dark mental place we can trap ourselves in, burnt to the ground, it may not have reflected reality for most people. The truth is, most of the time, we will relapse. Old habits, thoughts, and behaviors we thought we'd conquered will rear their ugly heads again. Blurryface has always been depicted as a part of Tyler, and this proves to be true yet again with Clancy becoming Nico. Despite his best efforts, he lets the doubts, the anxieties, the fears take control and define who he is. It can feel like a failure, but the victory is in making the choice to keep trying again. The music video then bleeds into another song from the album, Intentions. But the really interesting thing is that the melody is actually a song called Truce from their 2013 album being played backwards. The lyrics from Truce state, "Sun will arise and we will try again." And if we come back to the moment when Clancy was fighting Nico, the lyrics of the song say, "It might be the furthest we've reached, now move it up, it's a breach." With each cycle, Clancy has made it further. There's been progress, he's breached, which means he's broken through some barrier. That breach, no matter how small, is a victory. Each of 21 Pilots' albums deals with this overarching theme of mental health, but in specific ways. In Blurryface, we're really getting to know that character and all the ways he manifests. We're identifying and acknowledging our fears and anxieties. In Trench, we're getting to know the place those fears and anxieties put us in with Dima, and making attempts to leave it behind. In Scaled and Icy, we're learning about coping mechanisms, seeing how if we just bury these things without truly dealing with them, we may be able to coast for a while, but we're not really in control. In Clancy, we feel the determination and fear of trying to fight back against our anxieties. And in Breach, we feel the bittersweet feeling of acknowledging the cycle once again and accepting progress over despair. But Breach is also a key acknowledgement of the people that stay by our side through all of this. The people that go through their own cycle, watching others go through theirs. The Torchbearer recognizes the cycle almost better than Clancy does. He's by his side always, and yet sometimes he gets shut out. And yet, he does not give up. Breach is simultaneously about the process of moving forward despite all the struggle, and the people that help us do that. And how they don't give up on us no matter how many times we have to repeat that cycle. And with this comes the end of an era for 21 Pilots. Please let me know what you thought of City Walls and the album. Let me know if I missed anything, and any other thoughts you might have had. Just try.